us, Monica, then in your experience, like what got you through the pervasiveness of having to just keep trusting and being patient when you weren't seeing evidence of any answers, anything happening? Because a lot of people are feeling or felt the way that you felt, of just so stuck and lost and like looking for something to ground themselves and hold on to, and a sign and divine guidance, and they feel like they're not getting it. What was your thought process or your logos or your affirmations or whatever, or your commitment that kept you doing your prayers in the morning, asking the land, keep showing up until finally things started moving? Like what was your thought process that kept you going in that?
Well, when I didn't connect in that way, when I didn't ask, when I didn't sit and pray, basically, like for some guidance and support, when I didn't do that, and there were plenty of days when I was like, guys, I'm not doing this, I can't do this, then I ended up in tears, feeling totally sorry for myself and poor me, and then of course I was watching myself in that way, and it was like, but this is not who I am. I haven't come here to be a victim. Nobody has come here to be a victim. And so it's like, okay. So then you find and for me, because I was isolated so much, there was like, what else would you like to do? What else is here to do? You can't do anything, So I went from living in a beautiful, at the beginning of last year, I was living in this beautiful cottage, and there was like, we had a lot of ceremony going on, a lot of gathering, reading poetry, connection, dinners, and like my house was like people coming and going, beautiful, beautiful, rich, alive. And then it went from that place to a smaller place. The house was big where I moved into, and it was also in the middle of, nowhere. But the feeling was smaller. So not as many things happened, not as much activity occurred. And then from there I moved, I basically moved out of there to end up on a land which was beautiful and open, but in terms of activities with other humans, it was even more restricted because I couldn't even make it. Yeah. But it was good because it just showed me how, of course, our centeredness and our groundedness doesn't come from others. It cannot come from others. We need others. And connection and, feeling supported by a community is very important. But especially at these times, I think that we need to find our own groundedness, our own center. And if we can't find it, then we ended up in tears like me. But
like us all.
That's right. But then when you start engaging with this, like, it's basically a surrender. That's what you arrive to. It's like, I just basically cannot do anything else except being here and sit here and ask this place, please help me. And they always do. I know that from my plants, but the land in general, the country always respond if you're listening. So yeah, it was really empowering, because in the surrender you let go, and you feel nurtured. There is a part of you that in that moment feels like as if you've been held by a big mama, and you are being held by a big mama, in fact. And it gives you that sense of like, okay, I can do this. And what I really learned is that the main anxiety comes exactly from wanting and thinking that we need to know, we must know what's happening next, what am I doing? And all of those questions which have guided our lives up to this point, or our society, I would say, at least in the West, up to this point. We always know what the target is, we always know what the goal is, and there is always a plan, and instead it's like no plan, no target, no goal, and not even knowing where you're going. Are you okay with that? If you're not okay with that, it's time to learn to be okay with that.
Yeah. I've mentioned in many of my episodes that, what's happening with this pandemic is, in my opinion, the Great Awakening. For many of us, this is really what the point in humanity where we're here to really get that, to really understand the big leap, the giant, trust fall, of like, okay, no clue, but I'm jumping, and to your point about asking that question every day, I've been in a similar situation with the pandemic, very isolated, the whole deal, praying every morning, asking the question, please tell me what the hell's going on, what you want me to do, all that stuff. And like you, what I learned, just to share with the audience to hopefully be helpful, is I kind of got the message of when you keep asking the question, you're not trusting that we've answered it. That was kind of what was like, okay, you've asked it from an open, loving heart. So we're going to answer you. So let it go. The answer's coming. Move on. So it was like what you did. Finally, I got to the point of, it wasn't that I gave up. It was just more like, okay, I gave up that tactic of, you're going to tell me right now what the answer is, which is really what my cognitive brain wanted to know. And instead, it forced me to kind of, all right, well, I got to make the most of where I am. What do I like about this situation? And just kind of almost like get out of my own way and just follow things that were right in front of me that interested me. And then eventually they were like little breadcrumbs of a trail that led me down this way, that way. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe this is part of the plan. I started realizing, okay, I think I am being answered. All right. Because I kind of got off the broken record of, why won't you tell me what the hell, all that. So.